Hello everyone, welcome back. We have my new Leatherman Rebar. Now, I did a video quite a long time ago about my PST, which we'll get into in a minute, but that one has served me well for decades. So I was just checking out some multi-tools. I really like the Victorinox, and a couple of other ones, but I eventually settled on this for a few reasons, and I'm going to go into them. Number one, it's not much bigger than my PST. I have some weights here. Let's see. So my PST with the case is 6.3 ounces. The rebar, what do we got here? The rebar is 8 ounces with the sheath. The PST without the sheath is 5.2 and the rebar is 6.6, and that's all in ounces. So it's very comparable, you know, as far as the weight and the size goes. It's about the same height, exactly the same height, and just a little bit wider. So this tool, I will show you right now, has a bunch of advantages over the original PST. Right off the bat, it's got replaceable cutters for wire stripper and cutting wires. And every single blade in this tool locks. It has this little lever right here, and every tool locks. And it's a good connection. There's no wiggle. So that's one of the most excellent features. I'm not sure if I mentioned it in my PST video, but I did end up cutting myself with that tool. I was doing something stupid. I was trying to cut open a tie wrap, and it was in a precarious place, and I stuck my hand all the way in there, and I was trying to cut it, and I pushed too hard, and it folded, the knife folded onto my finger right across here. And I ended up getting 6 stitches. And not only that, but they said it looks like you might have cut a nerve in there. So they had to call a specialist. So I had to sit there for 2 hours stitched up. Specialist came, took the stitches out, poked and prodded me, and said, I can't put any Novocaine because I need to know, or whatever they put in there, pain numbing stuff. I have to know if you feel what I'm doing. And I'll tell you, he hurt me way more than the actual cut and the original stitches. But it ended up, I only nicked the nerve and I didn't cut it. So thanks for that. Yeah, they are sharp. So again, I love the feature of it. The tool's locking in here. That was number one. Number two was I wanted a multi-tool with a saw blade. And that puppy is sharp, okay? I had bought well, actually I got as a gift a Victorinox, and that had a saw blade in it. So I was just trying to minimize the stuff that I was having on my belt, aka my belt and suspenders, if you saw that video, trying to keep the weight down. But so, and another awesome, I'm not going to go through every single tool in here. I think there's 17 tools, 17 functions that this one has. You know, if you're interested in it, definitely check it out on the Leatherman site. But one of the other things when I was researching this was they have this little driver that's squared off, okay? And they sell a bit, guess you want to call it a bit attachment or something like that, nut driver, whatever you want to call it. And that slips onto here, onto the end of this, and then you can use regular screwdriver bits, Torx bits, hex bits, Phillips, slotted, whatever you want, and make it a very multi-use tool. Again, it's a multi-tool, but it greatly enhances that ability. I'm going to put a quick picture in right here of what that looks like. All right, so you see that. I'll get into the rest of that in a moment. But so here is the PST. So you can get, you know, kind of a size comparison. Very, very comparable. And again, like I said, the weight is not much off. And again, love this thing. It saved me a bunch of times out there when I needed it. And you know, this tool here, I have no complaints besides the fact that it doesn't lock. And this isn't the first one I ever bought. It's exactly like the first one I ever bought, but I had lost the first one. And then I replaced it. As soon as I got home, I ordered a new one. So that was back in the 80s, pretty much right after he started making them, Tim Leatherman. So this is definitely one of my old favorites, but this is my new favorite. So getting into that attachment there, the bit extender or whatever you want to call it, when I lost my first Leatherman, I had the case because I had accidentally put it on upside down in the dark and it popped open. So I saved the case and I had it in my car. And if anybody's been down in Florida and the heat and the sun, especially in the summer, you know it could wreak havoc on things in your car. And this case, I'm going to put a picture in right now to show you what this case looked like before I kind of cleaned it up. So there you see it. This was all tarnished, and I cleaned this button up, the snap, and I actually put a nice coat of black stain on it. And for some reason, it took the gold off of the lettering, which I thought was very odd, but I kind of dig it. But as you can see, their cases are black. Like this one is definitely black. But the earlier cases sort of were a brownish black, and they really didn't dye the ends. So this one now, it's great because now I could distinguish between the two just by looking at it. So what I ended up doing was I turned this into my accessory kit. And I forged one of those bit adapters. I did not film it. Let me go grab the tool I made that from. All right, so like I was saying, I didn't film it for a few reasons. It was a really crappy day out, and I just threw together a coffee can forge, and I had it under my overhang in my garage, and then I would just run into the garage real quick. I was only like maybe 10 feet from my vise, which I used as my anvil. So the way I did it, it didn't lend a good way to film it. And again, I had no idea, you know, I never did stainless steel. I had no idea if it was going to work. But, you know, hindsight, it came out great, and I was happy with it. Would have been nice to film it, but I'll explain to you what I did. So this was on here, okay? And it was a hex here, obviously, to fit on there. So I punched it off of here, and then I forged it. And how I did it was I just took this driver here, and I put it in, and then I stuck that into the forge, and then I brought it over to the vise, and I made a punch. And I'll explain to you what this is in a moment, but I made this punch out of mild steel. And this, without this piece of aluminum on here, was just a piece of steel, like a punch. I'm sorry, a drift, fit into the end. And then it was, once I heated it up, I would take this piece, I put it in the end, and then I kept forging it down, and forging it down, and forging it down, until it got square. Okay? Then I took that tool and I had filed it on each side and made this a little aluminum handle here, and I'll explain to you what that's for. So now I had this squared up, and I just filed it a little bit after I forged it, and this fits right on here, exactly like the tool that they designed for it. That tool, you could buy that little kit, and I think it's $24.95 or something plus shipping. And I was like, do I want it? Don't I want it? Am I going to use it? You know, and I said, like I said, let me make one. So it came out great. It doesn't fall off. And I picked up this a cheap little set. It actually came with two of these from eBay, and it had a bunch of drivers in it that I liked. I took some from the other one and put it in here because two don't fit in there, but this is plenty. I have a 3, 4, 5, and 6 flatheads. I have a 0, 1, and 2 Phillips, and then these are not what's pictured there, but these are all hex heads. And I figured that this would be a good combination for what I use it for, what I plan on using it for, and it fits in here. Whenever you're using any type of screwdriver or whatever, you always want the right one to fit the screw or whatever you're doing. If you use the wrong one, you could mess it up, especially if you're working on a firearm or something. You want one that fits in there perfectly. So back to the tool. So we have this. Then I was thinking, well, what happens if I want to like tighten a nut and a screw at the same time? This doesn't do me any good because I need the pliers. So I took that drift, and like I said, I filed it down, and I made this little attachment. So now I could use the pliers in conjunction with this. I could hold this in my hand, right? Let's say whatever, I'm doing something with a flathead. This could be in here. Okay, now I have a purchase on this, and if I need a little bit more torque, I can flip this open and hold it in my hand like this. And then I can use the pliers on the other end to tighten the nut. And then this and this, like I just showed you, all fits together into the other case. Slips right in. Did I weigh? I weighed this. This is 4.3 ounces altogether. So I had originally made this little, the best I could describe it, it looks like an auger handle, but this had slipped into here like this. The only thing was, it would slip right back out the other end. I mean, this is actually tapered, so it would fit in, it wouldn't fall out the other end, but if you put any kind of pressure on it in this direction, it would fall out. So that's why I ended up coming up with this idea where this just flips open and it doesn't fall out. So there's my new rebar. There's my old PST. And, whoa, I'm dropping everything. And my new forged, we'll call it, I guess, bit extension or bit adapter. Again, I wish I would have filmed that one, but I didn't. So, you know, there's a ton of different multi-tools out there. Pretty much one for everybody's budget. You know, you got the rebars, the Leathermans, you got the Victorinox, you got Gerber, you know, Ozark Trail. There's just so many to have out there. And again, if I was just going for a walk in the woods, I wouldn't be too concerned about having a multi-tool. But, you know, if you're out there hunting and you're camping and, you know, something busts on you, it's really great to have. So I could definitely highly recommend this rebar as far as the weight and the functionality of it. So let me grab a piece of paper. I want to show you something. All right, I got a piece of paper. All right, let's get out the blade. Now, it's still very stiff, which is fine by me. I'd rather be a little stiff than a little loose, but whoops. This printer paper I have here is very weird. It's like soft. But as you can see, you know, it does a really fine job cutting. They send them, this is right out of the box. I did nothing to it. I mean, as far as that goes, I couldn't ask for more, you know. So there you have it. All my little multi-tools. You know, definitely grab one, like I said, to fit your budget. They're great to have. So like always, everyone, I want to thank you for coming along. I always appreciate it. I'm sending you much love and respect to all of you, my brothers and sisters. I hope you're staying well. I hope you're having a wonderful day. I hope you found this useful, and we'll see you on the next one.